Welcome to the 7th East Agency's Ministerial Forum. May we request our non-country partners, members of PEMSEA Network of Local Governments, learning centers, international and regional collaborators, and friends from media to please rename yourselves in line with the example being shown on the screen. Please note that we are also streaming live via Facebook and YouTube. Thank you. Good morning. In a few minutes, we shall open the 7th East Agency's Ministerial Forum. To ensure a smooth flow of the program, please observe the following guidelines. For easy identification, please note that the event's organizer has automatically renamed our official delegations from the 11 PEMSEA countries, as well as the PEMSEA officials, which include our Chair Emeritus and Executive Committee members. For other partners, collaborators, and friends from the media joining us today, kindly rename your Zoom account following the example on the screen. To avoid disruption during the program, our partner events organizer will be managing the Zoom platform with microphone access given only to key speakers. Should you have concerns, please contact the PRF-MF Secretariat via the chat box. Please note that during the delivery of country statements, the head of delegation from Vietnam will deliver his speech in Vietnamese. For English translation, you may click on the option in the interpretation button found at the bottom of your Zoom screens. For Cambodian delegates convening at the Independence Beach Hotel in Sihanoukville, please take your seats now and ensure that your mobile phones are in silent mode. Please note that we are also live streaming the forum via Facebook and YouTube. Highlights of the event will also be tweeted live. May we now request all country delegation and partners to please turn your videos on. We shall commence the program in a few minutes. Honorable ministers and senior government officials, PEMSEA partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to you all. I'm Mitzi Borromeo, and I will serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today. It is my honor to introduce to you the country delegation from the 11 PEMSEA country partners. Starting off with Cambodia, please welcome His Excellency Minister Sai Samal of the Ministry of Environment. Together with him is MOE Cambodia's Secretary of State, His Excellency Sao Sopip, and the members of Cambodia's delegation convening in Sihanoukville today. From the People's Republic of China, we have Honorable Zhang Zhanhai, Chief Engineer and Director General of the Ministry of Natural Resources, together with the members of China's delegation. We are pleased to have with us today the delegation of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, led by Honorable Ri Myong-san, Vice Minister, Ministry of External Economic Relations. From Indonesia, please welcome Honorable Madam Lokmi Purwandari, Acting Director of Coastal and Marine Pollution and Degradation Control of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, together with the members of Indonesia's delegation. From Japan, we are happy to have with us today the delegation from the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism, who will be joined a bit later on by Honorable Masayuki Takada, Deputy Minister for Technical Affairs of MLIT. Next, from Lao People's Democratic Republic, please welcome Honorable Chantanet Bualapa, Vice Minister of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, together with Lao PDR's delegation. From the Philippines, we are glad to be joined by Honorable Roy A. Simatu, Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, together with the Philippine delegation. Representing the Republic of Korea, please welcome Honorable Yoon Hyun Soo, Director General for Marine Environment Policy, Bureau of the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, together with RO Korea's delegation. From Singapore, please welcome Honorable Hazri Hassan, Director of International Policy of the Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment, together with Singapore's delegation. From Timor-Leste, we are joined by Honorable Acacio Guterres, Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, together with Timor-Leste's delegation. Lastly, on our country partners, please welcome Honorable Le Minh Ngan, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, together with Vietnam's delegation. We are also pleased to have with us today the Chair Emeritus of the EAS Partnership Council, Dr. Chua Tiaeng, EAS Partnership Council Chair, Mr. Arif Yuono, PEMSEA Executive Director, Ms. Amy Gonzalez, Intergovernmental Session Chair, Dr. Vu Tan Ka, Technical Session Chair, Dr. J. Ryong Oh, Council Co-Chair, Dr. Van Monenith, and Technical Session Co-Chair, Dr. Keita Furukawa. Also joining us from countries within and outside of East Asia are members of the PEMSEA non-country partners, various development partners at the international and regional level, members of the PEMSEA networks and collaborators from the local government, academe, youth, NGOs, and private sector, and friends of PEMSEA to witness this momentous occasion. To formally welcome you all on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, it is my honor to present to you the chair of the 7th EAS Ministerial Forum, His Excellency Sai Samal, Minister of Environment of Cambodia. Minister Sai Samal also serves as the chairman of the National Council for Sustainable Development, vice president of the National Committee of Cambodian Coastal Management and Development, and High Representative of Samdech Akamoha Senapade Tekohun Sen, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia. Your Excellency, Minister Sai Samal, the floor is yours.
Excellency Ministers, Secretaries, Chairs Emeritus of PEMSEA, East Asia's EAS Partnership Council Chairs, PEMSEA Executive Director, distinguished delegates and observers, ladies and gentlemen. Today, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, I have a great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the virtual 7th East Asia Ministerial Forum. Together with the national and local government representative and various stakeholders of the EAS Congress 2021, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to my fellow ministers and to all of you for gracing this important event. So we will jointly deliberate and come up with solutions to the challenge we face. Over the past 2 years, we have confronted the tremendous challenge of global pandemic COVID-19. We are living in the most uncertain world of all time, but the fact that we are here today is a testament to our strong resolve to rise above the adversity and to build back smarter, better, and bluer. The global pandemic has further underscored how everything and everyone is interconnected. To achieve a meaningful recovery, it is important that we acknowledge the cross-cutting impact of this crisis from the political, socio-economic, environmental perspective. Building on the principle of partnership, integration, and sustainability, our collective PEMSEA history has shown the value of mainstream rivers, coastal, and ocean protection and responsible management in delivering common goods to the people along the East Asia Sea and beyond. The success of integrated coastal management in Preah Sihanouk, for instance, has paved the way for the expansion of ICM of all coastal municipalities of Cambodia. And despite many challenges, we remain committed to ensuring the continuity of this hard-earned success. Our region history, cultures, economy, and health are closely intertwined with our sea. Based on the PEMSEA State of the Coast Blue Economy report with data coming from 10 countries, our ocean economy is estimated to be worth approximately $1.4 trillion US. At the center of marine biodiversity in the world and home to busiest trading route and hub, our region plays a crucial role in food security, income generation, livelihood, recreation, shoreline protection, climate regulations, among others, for the people not only in this region, but also the world as a whole. As reported by PEMSEA country during our Ocean Roundtable dialogue in June this year, the marine sector is one of the sectors seriously affected by the pandemic, compounded by increasing threat from land-based and marine-based pollutions, habitat degradations, overexploitation of marine species, and climate change. We have seen how these impacts have cascaded down to our community welfare and livelihood. Today, Ministerial Forum therefore become an even more crucial as we lay down our roadmap to help regions sail through a better tomorrow. As the UN Special Envoy for the Ocean, Mr. Peter Thompson, has once said, there will be no healthy planet without a healthy ocean. Thus, as we pursue our post-pandemic recovery plan, let us build on the lesson and gain that we generated from our PEMSEA work for the last 28 years and continue to making our ocean one of the greatest assets in maintaining human and planetary health. We have now entered the decade of ocean science and ecosystem restorations, so we must seize all opportunity before us to achieve our Sustainable Development Goal and the SDG visions. Cambodia is committed to sustainable, equitable, and resilient blue principle for our socio-economic development. Later, we will hear more from our fellow ministers, senior officials, distinguished delegates, participants, and by the end of this forum, we will have come up with new insight and next step toward better, bluer East Asia Sea regions. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, once again, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, the Ministry of Environment, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to you all for spending your invaluable time attending this crucial virtual gathering. Finally, I wish the 7th East Asia Sea Ministerial Forum a fruitful success. Now I declare the Ministerial Forum officially open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Saisamal. Before we proceed with our agenda, let's first take a look back on our partnership journey through this video.
The ocean covers almost 3/4 of the planet. It's difficult to overstate the importance of the ocean for our life on this planet. Every second breath we take comes from the ocean. It's the source of much of our food and of our water. We travel and trade upon it, brings us joy and economic benefits in the shape of the world's tourism industry. It is clear that appropriate management of the ocean resources will be the key to reducing poverty and to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
Excellency Minister Sai Samal, the floor is yours to introduce the delegates.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear from our head of delegations from the 11 PEMSEA country partners. First, I would like to call on Honorable Zhang Zantai, Chief Engineer and Director General of the Ministry of Natural Resources of the People's Republic of China. Director General Zhang, the floor is yours.
Samo, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. It's my great pleasure to attend the 7th Ministerial Forum of the East Asian EAS Congress 2021. First of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources and State Oceanic Administration, People's Republic of China, I would like to extend my congratulations on the opening of the forum and express my appreciation to the host country, Cambodia, and the PEMSEA Resource Facility for their efforts in overcoming the impact of the pandemic and making this Congress possible. The region of the Eastern Asian Seas is one of the regions in the world with the richest marine biodiversity and the most dynamic marine economic development. A safe and healthy ocean is the most basic public goods and universally beneficial welfare. However, affected by the climate change, human activities, and the pandemic, challenges such as habitat degradation, frequent marine disasters, and slow economic development have kept emerging. It is urgent for us to join forces in addressing them. PEMSEA is an important regional platform for marine cooperation. For more than 2 decades, PEMSEA has contributed greatly to the regional sustainable development and the improvement of countries' capacity in integrated coastal management. China attached great importance to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Strategy for the seas of East Asia. We have made unremitting efforts in boosting green development of the ocean and achieved important outcomes. We have been promoting the implementation of ICM in China and have established 22 demonstration sites along the coasts. The marine ecological conservation red lines are set up, highlighting the bottom line constraints of marine ecological protection. We have been actively promoting marine ecological protection and restoration. In the past 5 years, China has carried out the Blue Bay project and other protection and restoration projects for coastal areas. As a result, 1,200 kilometers of coastal line and 23,000 hectares of coastal wetlands have been rehabilitated. We have been strictly controlling and regulating coastal reclamation activities and strengthen the intensive and economical use of marine space resources. China has introduced a series of regulations to curb illegal reclamation. We have been developing blue and low carbon economy and explore the development of marine ecological economy, marine renewable energy, seawater desalination, marine biomedicine, and other industry are nurtured and expanded. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, China has made major arrangements of promoting green development and seeking the harmonious coexistence of man and nature. We will willing to work hand in hand with countries in the region, upholding the concept of a maritime community with a shared future. We would like to positively develop blue partnership with other countries, thus contributing to the marine sustainable development and the welfare of the people in the region. Firstly, we are committed to implementing sustainable development strategy for the seas of East Asia. China will encourage PEMSEA's development through introducing new concepts, measures, and technologies, and providing more public products so that PEMSEA will upgrade ICM capacities of the countries and support the high-quality development of coastal areas. Secondly, we are committed to creating synergy between countries' development strategy. Acting in the spirit of extensive consolidation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, China will identify areas where our development policies and priorities converge and take the implementation of the UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development as an opportunity to leverage countries' respective strengths. Thirdly, we are committed to regional communication and cooperation at all levels. China will step up exchanges of best practices among the countries. Diversified cooperation means seek practical cooperation projects so that the cooperation with PEMSEA can remain vigorous. China will continue to support PEMSEA as a bridge for the regional cooperation. Finally, I wish the 7th Ministerial Forum a full success. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Zhang. Our next speaker is Honorable Ri Myung-san, Vice Minister of the Ministry of External Economic Relations of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Vice Minister Ri, you may have the floor.
우장 선생, 대표 여러분. 우장 선생, 대표 여러분. 나는 먼저 조선민주주의민주공화국 대표단의 이름으로 세이사말 선생이 제7차 상급연단 우장으로 선거된 것을 축하하면서 이번 회의가 당신이 능숙한 사회 밑에 성과적으로 진행되리라는 기대를 표명합니다. 또한 이번 회의 성과적 보장을 위해 많은 노력을 기울인 캄보디아 정부와 PEMSEA 기구의 사의를 표합니다. 2018년 동아시아 바다대회 및 제6차 상급연단이 진행된 때로부터 지난 3년간 조선민주주의민주공화국은 연안 명예의 종합관리 사업에 큰 관심을 돌려왔습니다.
Mr. Chairman, esteemed delegates, first of all, I would like to extend my congratulations in the name of the delegation of the DPR of Korea to His Excellency Sai Samal, who has been elected as the chairman of the 7th Ministerial Forum. And I hope the forum will witness a success under your skillful chairmanship. I also would like to express gratitude to the government of the Kingdom of Cambodia and the PEMSEA Resource Facility, which have made many efforts for the success in the forum. For the last 3 years, since the EAS Congress 2018 and the 6th Ministerial Forum, the DPR of Korea has constantly paid deep attention to the integrated coastal and marine management. In the historic 8th Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea, held at the beginning of January this year, Kim Jong-un, chairman of the State Affairs Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, put forth the task of making decisive progress in land development and protection of the ecological environment so that it can push ahead steadily with the work to transform the whole country into a socialist paradise, a beautiful land befitting the era of the Workers' Party of Korea, and pointed out that we have to push ahead with the massive construction on the eastern and western coasts of the country to protect the lives and safety of the people, conserve land, and spruce up the country's coastal areas as appropriate to the appearance of a maritime nation in the new 5-year plan period for developing the national economy. At present, our country is conducting an energetic struggle to bring about a decisive progress in the land development and the protection of ecological environment. In recent years alone, the government of the DPR of Korea has made a lot of improvements in strengthening the state guidance of and control over marine and coastal environment protection and management, including the adoption of regulation of the DPR of Korea on the development, utilization, and protection of marine resources, and regulation of the DPR of Korea on the protection and management of coast, and the amendment of law of the DPR of Korea on the prevention of seawater pollution, enforcement regulation of law of the DPR of Korea on the prevention of seawater pollution, and also the enforcement regulation of law of the DPR of Korea on the vessel safety. Moreover, we have set up different types of protected areas, such as the spatially protected areas of marine resources, to protect useful marine products, including sea cucumber, sea urchin, ear shell, labor, and unfilled seaweed, and non-migratory fish stock protected areas, the ones for certain special kinds of fish, and the extraordinary marine protected areas, which take seasonal impact and growing features of fish into account. The government of the DPR of Korea laid out the Master Plan for Land Development, the Master Coastal and Marine Spatial Plan, and the Master Plan on the East Coast Land Use and Construction, in alignment with the policy for protecting the lives and safety of the people and conserving land by pushing ahead with the massive construction on the eastern and western coasts of the country as appropriate to the appearance of a maritime nation. And the government of the DPR of Korea is propelling dynamically the construction of coast protection facilities, including sea dike and offshore breakwater on a nationwide scale. The ICM Training Center of the Faculty of Earth Environment Science in Kim Il-sung University organizes the training courses twice a year in order to further enhance the ranks of experts and management staff in the field of marine and coastal environment protection and management. The lecturers and researchers of educational institutions and academia worked out the solution for sustainable protection and management of marine environment as part of a research for marine ecological environment management in Wonsan Mount Donggang area, thus making contributions to the establishment of National Plan for ICM. The government of the DPRK will continue to follow the implementation of the SDSC with deep interest and make strenuous efforts for the management and sustainable development of coastal and marine resources and environment in the future. In order to protect the marine and coastal resources and environment and achieve their sustainable development, all countries bordering the East Asian seas should constantly develop and enhance their capabilities to protect and manage their own marine and coastal environment. And PEMSEA country partners should continue to intensify exchange and cooperation with each other. PEMSEA country partners should strive hard to implement the SDSC despite the lack of smoothness in the exchange and cooperation between the countries due to the global health crisis. The past experiences show that PEMSEA's activities for achieving the plan and goals of the SDSC have been making contributions to promoting exchange and cooperation between PEMSEA country partners or ICM. We hope that PEMSEA and its partners in the future too will play a greater role, attaching great importance to capacity building for the sustainable development of the East Asian seas.
우장 선생, 여러분, 조선민주주의인민공화국은 앞으로도 동아시아 바다지속 개발 전략의 성과적인 비행을 위한 자기 의무를 다할 것이며 동아시아 지역의 지속적 발전을 이뤄가기 위하여 적극 노력할 것입니다. 감사합니다.
Mr. Chairman, dear delegates, the DPR of Korea will, as ever, fulfill its responsibilities for the successful implementation of the SDSC and strive hard to achieve the sustainable development of East Asia. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Minister Rees. It is my pleasure to introduce to you next speakers, Honorable Madame Lakshmi Phuvandari, Acting Director of Coastal and Marine Pollution and Degradation Control, Ministry of Environment and Forestry of Republic of Indonesia. Madame Phuvandari, the floor is yours.
Excellencies, Minister Sihanouk, Ministers of PEMSEA country partners, PEMSEA Executive Committee members and Executive Director, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation to the Royal Government of Cambodia for your hospitality and for organizing this Congress right here in beautiful Sihanouk Valley. Cambodia's generosity in hosting the EAS Asian Seas Congress 2021, including and particularly our meeting today, has allowed us to further cement our common vision of healthy oceans, people, and economy. Our appreciation also goes to the PEMSEA for effectively and efficiently executing its mission to foster and sustain healthy and resilient oceans, coast, communities, and economies across the seas of East Asia through integrated management solution and partnership. As many of us are aware, this meeting is essential toward championing the protection of our coastal and marine ecosystem from the adverse effect of climate change, pollution, and unsustainable patterns of resource use. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on global health and economy is severe, and Indonesia, however, believes that PEMSEA countries are among the champions that have risen above the fray in overcoming such multidimensional challenges. Not only have these countries implemented a number of responses to not only overcome health and economic crisis, PEMSEA countries have managed to conduct blue and green activities toward achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. The Indonesian government initiated the National Economy Recovery, or we call PEN, program in 2020. With an allocated budgetary increase of about 21% compared to the year before. PEN's 2021 budget is almost US dollar 48.8 billion. PEN aims to reverse the decline in economic activities with particular focus on informal sector and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Due to such support, this sector were able to operate during the pandemic. This increase in productivity significantly contributed to the fabric of Indonesia's economy. Such a contribution focusing on harnessing livelihood through sustainability is much needed, especially during Indonesia chairmanship of the G20 that began at the beginning of this month. Indonesia strongly believes that only by embracing sustainability can countries truly recover stronger together. Then it's upon which Indonesia bases its G20 chairmanship. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our meeting today with the adoption of outcomes upon which were collectively agreed. Such outcomes include the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030. The journey towards agreement was not easy. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity in expressing my sincere appreciation for the excellent cooperation of all stakeholders in producing an ambitious, reasonable, operational, and robust Ministerial Declaration. Continuously regarded as a model for strong regional partnership in sustainable development, PEMSEA has continued to support the Integrated Coastal Management (ICM), synergizing with the Integrated River Basin Management solution in Indonesia, including through the work of PEMSEA Network of Learning Centers and PEMSEA Network of Local Governments. We are pleased to inform you that out of 34 provinces in Indonesia, 28 provinces have already declared their respective coastal area and small island zoning plans, covering about 83% or 90,000 kilometers Indonesia coastline under ICM. In addition, as Indonesia has recognized PEMSEA as an international organization, Indonesia has the legal basis to fortify its support for sustainable development strategy for the seas of East Asia implementation and to provide voluntary funding contribution to PEMSEA. In working towards sustainable and resilient coast and ocean for the region, we trust that PEMSEA can further embrace technological advancement in developing management solutions, as well as to continue to engage a broad alliance of stakeholders, including youth and women. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia appreciates PEMSEA for a successful collaborative event with the Regional Capacity Center for Clean Seas, RC2S, and the GF for undertaking the Asian Workshop on Data and Information Management in Bali, 2019. We are pleased to announce that a region of Tangerang has been elected as Vice President of the PNLG yesterday, and the upcoming annual forum of PNLG for Sustainable Coastal Development will be hosted by Tangerang Regency. Allow me to conclude my remarks by saying that I truly look forward to warmly welcoming all delegates to the city of Tangerang, a city known for its innovative architecture, urban dynamism, and rich heritage. Thank you, Minister of Environment and Forestry Republik of Indonesia, Dr. Siti Nurbaya.
Thank you, Madam Puvandari. May I now call on Honorable Masayuki Takada, Deputy Minister for Technical Affairs, Ministry of Land, Infrastructures, Transport and Tourism of Japan. Deputy Minister, you may have the floor.
Delegate of the Royal Government of Cambodia, Executive Director of PEMSEA, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to have the opportunity to attend the 7th Ministerial Forum of the EAS Congress and speak to you on behalf of the Government of Japan. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to the Royal Government of Cambodia and the PEMSEA Secretariat for the successful holding of this Congress, regardless of the COVID-19 situation. Since around the end of 2019, the pandemic of COVID-19 has brought various adverse effects, not only in our country, but also around the world, including disruption in economic activities due to lockdowns or curfews. According to the WMO, World Meteorological Organization, CO2 emissions from fossil fuels decreased by 5.6% in 2020 compared to the previous year, but the CO2 atmospheric concentration in 2020 reached a record high. If human beings do not take countermeasures, temperatures are expected to rise around 4 degrees at the end of this century. As natural disasters become more frequent and more severe worldwide, reducing CO2 emissions is one of the most important factors in the global warming issue from the perspective of protecting lives and assets from natural disasters. We believe that the role of the oceans in addressing global warming is very important from 3 perspectives. Firstly, from the perspective of utilizing the ocean space, we believe that offshore wind power generation is an effective means of introducing renewable energy as a measure to reduce CO2 emissions. The Japanese government established the 6th Basic Energy Plan in October this year with the aim of achieving carbon neutrality in 2050. According to this plan, Japan is working to turn renewable energy into a main power source, including by introducing offshore wind power generation of around 45 gigawatts by 2040. Secondly, from the perspective that the port areas is ocean gateway of vast shipping network, we believe that decarbonizing port areas in our country is an extremely effective measure in addressing global warming because CO2 emissions of the port areas account for approximately 60% of total emissions in Japan. Specifically, we aim to realize a carbon-neutral port that will reduce CO2 emissions to the net zero through the mass import, storage and utilization of next-generation energy, such as hydrogen and ammonia, and the upgrading of port function in decarbonization. Thirdly, from the perspective of marine ecosystems, blue carbon has a role to play in absorbing CO2. It is said that the amount of CO2 absorbed by the ocean is 2.6 billion tons per year, which is more than the 2.2 billion tons per year by land. We pay attention to the function of marine ecosystems in seagrass beds and tidal lands as a carbon sink. For example, in the development of infrastructure such as sea airports and ports, attention is paid to the creation of seagrass beds and shallow areas, and efforts are being made to improve biodiversity while encouraging the absorption of CO2 by marine ecosystems. As mentioned before, measures against global warming from the ocean are extremely powerful, and we believe that an approach that utilizes the sea is extremely important. In light of climate change and disaster risk reduction, which are being priority management programs under the SDSC Implementation Plan 2018 to 2022, Japan would like to steadily contribute to carbon neutrality. It goes without saying that these ocean issues are global in nature and that concerted efforts by the international community are important. In establishing the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030, we believe that the role of PEMSEA is important in integrating global efforts into feasible efforts tailored to the characteristics of each region along with the United Nations efforts towards sustainable development. In particular, I believe that it is more meaningful for Japan, an island nation that connects to the world through the sea, to address these issues in cooperation with other countries. Japan believes that PEMSEA has the potential to contribute to the virtuous cycle of the economies and marine environment of East Asian countries. We support the establishment of the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and SDSC 2022 to 2030 as a means of achieving regional development via PEMSEA's activities. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Royal Government of Cambodia and the PEMSEA Secretariat for their great efforts in preparing for this Congress. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Takada. Please welcome our next speakers, His Excellency Chantanet Bulavafa, Vice Minister of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Lao People Democratic Republic. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
His Excellency Sai Saman, Minister of Environment, Kingdom of Cambodia, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government of the Lao People's Democratic Republic, it gives me great honor and pleasure to be here today at the 7th East Asian Peace Ministerial Forum, East Asian Sea Congress 2021. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the government of Kingdom of Cambodia for the excellent preparation of this important meeting in collaboration with partnerships in environmental management for the Sea of East Asian PEMSEA. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we gather today amidst the global pandemic situation of COVID-19, which is profoundly affected life around the globe. The isolation, contact restrictions, and economic shutdown have resulted to a complete change on the psycho-social environment of affected countries. The same reasons have also transformed the way we conduct this meeting forum. This is a Trinian Forum, as we now meet virtually for the very first time. In the past recent years, we have made some achievements as a member of East Asian Seas Partnership Council. From our organization, we have actively contributed to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Strategy for the Sea of the East Asian SEEPA through on-the-ground activities such as management of the Sedon River Basin and its sub-basins in the most southern part of Lao PDR, development of the second national IWRM demonstration site, development of the water use agreement, provisions of water use in the pilot area to support drought mitigation and towards improving local livelihood. At the national stage, Lao PDR has successfully implemented the 8th 5-year National Socio-Economic Development Plan 2016-2020, and it's currently implementing the new 9th 5-year National Socio-Economic Development Plan 2021-2025. In addition, throughout the comprehensive process of consultations and discussions with relevant agencies from the central to the local levels, the revisions of the law on water and water resources was officially adopted by the National Assembly in May 2017. In the regional context, Lao PDR has cooperated with other regional and international organizations to jointly manage and develop water and related resources in the region, among others. Implementing and upscaling the Mekong Integrated Water Resource Management Program, MIWIMP. The 10-year strategic framework of the Greater Mekong Sub-Regional Economic Cooperation Program, jointly formulated the IWIM Basin Development Strategy of the Lower Mekong River Basin, 2021-2030, implementing 5-year joint action plan of the Mekong Lansang Cooperation on Water Resources, an ASEAN Strategic Plan of Action for Water Resource Management. In addition, Lao PDR has been selected as the chair of the ASEAN Water Working Group for 2020-2022, and the Global Water Partnership for Southeast Asia, GWP-SEA, from 2019 to 2021. This is a great example of the Lao PDR in facilitating and enhancing the cooperation in the region with regard to integrated water resource management. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our 7th Ministerial Forum today, we endorse the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration in order to have an indeed innovative platform for effective governance, healthy ocean, people, and economy that is based on land to sea approach. We join our country partnership present here today to commit to guide and work with the PEMSEA resource facility in the development of the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and the SDSSEA Implementation Plan 2023-2027. Our future direction, we would like to request the PEMSEA country and non-country partners to continue sharing knowledge and experiences and technical support, as well as to support the approval and implementation of the Integrated River Basin Management Project. Promote experts exchange on integrated coastal and water resource management, flood and drought management, river basin planning, and climate change resilience and adaptation, and support capacity building for Lao officials on water management, water resource management, in order to effectively coordinate and implement the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and the SDSSEA Implementation Plan 2023-2027. Mr. Chair, taking this opportunity on behalf of the Lao delegation, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the host country and to PEMSEA for providing a platform for sustainable development agenda for the water sector. I also wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the member countries for their collective efforts toward fostering cooperation in the region. Once again, I would like to reiterate Lao PDR's continued support to the work of the PEMSEA and to collaborate with our fellow members to achieve our common goals. Finally, I wish the 7th East Asian Sea Ministerial Forum great success and fruitful outcomes. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Wine Minister Preah. It is my honor to present our next speakers, Honorable Roy Simatu, Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Republic of the Philippines. Secretary Simatu, you may now proceed with your statement.
Greetings from the Philippines. We, the ministers of our countries in the East Asian region, who are in charge of sustainably managing our ocean resources, are gathered in this moment when our choices for the environment, the economy, and humanity are being challenged to carefully considered actions that will positively benefit our region in the next 10 years. We are still battling with the COVID-19 pandemic and dealing with its impacts and the effects of climate change. In 2020, the Philippines lost over $8 billion in tourism revenue and an estimated income of 31 million pesos from our coastal and marine protected areas. As a result of closures of beach resorts where we come and some MPAs are also located and low impact activities are regulated, thus exacerbating the financing gap and marine environmental protection. In the 26th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Philippines drummed its position that effective climate finance is built on an orchestration of grants to better prepare communities for climate change. Investment in making business for climate ready and subsidies to help renewable energy to take off. Climate change exacerbates the current pressures that our coral reefs are experiencing. Based on a study, the Philippines is estimated to lose 6% of its gross domestic product every year until 2100 if it disregards the risks associated with climate change. To address the pressures and threats, conservation and sustainable use of the ocean and marine resources are continuously being harnessed and strengthened by the Philippines. The country welcomes the application of blended protection that includes 30% coverage of both land and sea to significantly measure the equivalent effects of protection of biodiversity through strong enforcement of other conservation policies such as total ban of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, among others. This is in consideration of further stakeholders' consultations concerning the spectrum of effective area-based conservation measures and ecologically or biologically significant marine areas. Rehabilitation of the country's coastal ecosystems, including those considered as prime tourist destinations, is being decisively pursued. The world-famous pristine beaches of Boracay were closed for 6 months to enforce foreshore easement, establishment of sewage treatment facilities, and other measures to improve water quality. The renewed image of Boracay worldwide now provides the local government and the communities with sustained tourism and livelihood. The country has started the daunting task of cleaning up and rehabilitating the Manila Bay, which draws into its shores 16 major rivers and 14 rivers outfalls. Massive cleanup and dredging of esteros, construction of solar-powered sewage treatment plants, relocation of informal settlers, and beach nourishment of the Baywalk are continuously being undertaken. Significant reductions in fecal coliform counts were recorded at several monitoring stations in 2020. Such efforts demonstrate the whole of government an integrated approach in addressing marine pollution, which contributes to the fragile situation of our oceans. To promote source-to-sea solutions, the Philippines adopted the National Plan of Action for the Prevention, Reduction, and Management of Marine Litter to provide a blueprint for the reduction of marine litter toward zero waste in Philippine waters by 2040. The implementation of the National Action Plan aims to achieve sustainable consumption and production in the areas of resource conservation, efficiency, and cleaner production, waste management, and sustainable business and lifestyle. To promote the blue economy, the Philippines continues to support sustainable tourism, where we ensure the protection of the coastal and marine habitats, resources, and water quality, as well as to promote viable livelihood options for coastal communities. The country also embarks on sustainable fisheries and aquaculture through, number one, adaptive aquaculture and supplementary livelihood programs for fisheries. Number two, integrated multi-species aquaculture. And number three, electronic catch documentation and traceability for sustainable tuna fisheries. The country further invests in more green ports using renewable energy, solar panel lighting, and the establishment of shore reception facilities. Apart from promoting traditional ocean-based industries, we need to scale up implementations of our programs to include conservation of forests and other terrestrial ecosystems and accelerate the restoration to abate land-based pollution that eventually finds its way to our oceans. Support initiatives for emerging blue economy industries like marine renewable energy, marine technology, and green shipbuilding. Further, we need to measure the blue economy for evidence-based policy by doing economic valuation of our ocean-based industries, coastal and marine ecosystems and resources, and produce the second National State of Oceans and Coast Report. The Philippines is promoting policy coherence through the proposed Integrated Coastal Management Act, which adds to pursue policy and functional integration to support the country's achievement of sustainable development of the coastal and related ecosystems, food security, and poverty alleviation, and to reduce the vulnerability to climate change impacts. being the most vulnerable region in the world to climate change, we need to enhance strategic partnership under the existing mechanism which the PEMCEA or PEMSEA provides. We need to maximize the shared responsibility among us country and non-country partners to strengthen such action-oriented regional platform. PEMSEA offers a pathway for establishing meaningful partnership, effective follow-up and review, and inclusive sharing of experiences across stakeholders and countries. And so, therefore, in this 7th Ministerial Forum, the Philippines not only reiterates its firm commitment to the implementation of the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and the SDS-SEA Implementation Plan 2022 to 2027, but also urge country partners to embrace the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration on building coastal resilience to climate change impacts in East Asia and to contribute in advancing the global sustainable development agenda. The Philippines joins everyone in congratulating and sincerely thanking His Excellency Minister Sai Samal, the chair of the East Asian EAS Congress 2021, the Ministry of Environment of Cambodia, and the PEMSEA Resource Facility led by Executive Director Jaime Gonzalez for organizing and hosting this year's EAS Congress despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us continue to demonstrate the far-reaching effects of our cooperation and partnership for pursuing transformative actions for hope, healthy ocean, people, and economy. Thank you very much. Salamat.
Thank you, Secretary Simatu. We will now hear from Honorable Moon Seong-Himok, Minister of Ministry of Oceans and Fishery of the Republic of Korea. Minister Moon, the floor is yours.
His Excellency, Mr. Sai Samal, the Minister of Environment of Cambodia, my fellow ministers, Mr. Arif Yuano, Chair of the EAS Partnerships in Environmental Management for the Seas of East Asia, Ms. Amy Gonzalez, the Executive Director of a PEMSEA Resource Facility, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, warmest greetings from the Republic of Korea. I am Sung Young-moon, Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. First of all, I'd like to start by offering my sincere congratulations to the successful staging of EAS Congress 2021 under the theme of charting a new decade of hope. The first EAS Congress held in 2003 in Putrajaya, Malaysia, marked the milestone for the future direction of PEMSEA by approving Sustainable Development Strategy for the Seas of East Asia. This triennial event is an important opportunity for PEMSEA country partners to showcase their outcomes and develop agenda items to achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The tremendous challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic have not yet loosened the grip. So I can only imagine how difficult it must have been to put together this significant event. In this regard, I'd like to convey my deepest gratitude to the Cambodian government for offering this wonderful opportunity for PEMSEA country partners to engage in dynamic talks. Cambodia is home to one of the world's widest sea plant and coral reef ecosystem, actively participating in ocean-related discussions with its essential role. The Korean government has closely cooperated with the Cambodian government for various projects to preserve the East Asian seas, including the capacity building program on coastal and marine environmental management. I firmly believe that Cambodia will play a central role in marine conservation, thereby make a significant contribution to the global response to tackle climate change. My special appreciation also goes to the PEMSEA Secretariat for its hard work in ensuring the success of this milestone event in association with the host country. The ocean is our most valuable asset, which we must put our wisdoms together to preserve in a concerted manner. The marine environment is rapidly being degraded by climate change, marine debris, and marine biodiversity loss. The call for the world to rise to this challenge and protect the marine environment under such a threat is more pressing now than ever before. Against this backdrop, PEMSEA's continued efforts to achieve sustainability of the East Asian Sea by establishing SDS, SEA, and conducting integrated coastal management now holds more significance and encouragement. Distinguished guests from home and abroad, the ocean is home to countless living creatures, the planet's last bastion in the fight against climate change, and a source with unlimited possibilities. The Korean government has devised diverse policies to keep marine ecosystems intact and ensure the sustainable use of marine resources. Among other critical issues, climate change has posed the most severe threat to sea current, sea level, and marine organisms. To address such challenge and bring sustainability back to the sea, the Korean government declared its commitment to achieving carbon neutrality by 2050 as of last year. In line with this roadmap, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries of Korea aims at going beyond carbon neutral toward carbon negative for the oceans and the fisheries sectors. To this end, Korea plans to promote decarbonization in the shipping industry by reducing carbon emissions from ships, developing zero carbon fuels for vessels such as hydrogen and ammonia, and building infrastructure for hydrogen ports. In addition, we'll never stand idle in expanding and developing ocean-based carbon sinks, so-called blue carbon, by creating more marine forests and restoring tidal flats. The Korean government also continues to push its boundaries in preserving marine ecosystems and ensuring marine biodiversity. Korea's tidal flats are known as an excellent carbon sink and habitat for a variety of marine organisms. In consideration of this, the Korean government is taking aggressive measures to protect ecologically significant tidal flats by designating them as marine protected areas. Especially, Korea's tidal flats were inscribed on the list of UNESCO's World Natural Heritage in July this year in recognition of their outstanding universal value. On behalf of the Korean government, I strive to conserve this valuable heritage. Excellencies and distinguished guests, our journey toward the sustainable development of the ocean is not an easy task. Due to its far-reaching impact and magnitude, marine litter has long been a global issue that requires a joint response across the globe. It not only damages marine ecosystem and biodiversity, but has negative impacts on all related industries, including fisheries, aquaculture, and tourism. The Korean government is striving to resolve such issue in a comprehensive manner. Based on a life cycle perspective of a marine litter issue, Korea is taking measures to prevent the generation of a marine litter, collect them in a most efficient way, and promote the reuse and recycling. As part of the effort, Korea has established the Pan-Governmental Marine Litter Management Commission to create a platform for related ministries to jointly seek solutions. Korea is also encouraging active participation from civil society through the Adopt a Beach program. The Korean government has enhanced our solidarity with the international community for combating climate change and achieving the SDGs via 2021 P4G Seoul Summit. The P4G Summit in May succeeded in sounding the alarm for the entire world that marine litter issues must be resolved promptly and efficiently in order to ensure the sustainability of the ocean. In that summit, Korea also signed an MOU with PEMSEA to launch the East Asian Seas Initiative on Clean Oceans, aimed at seeking civil society-based solutions for marine litter in East Asia. Excellencies and distinguished guests, the fifth session of the UN Environment Assembly, which is expected to discuss the adoption of a binding international treaty regarding marine litter, will be held in about 3 months. This assembly is telling us that the marine environment requires a global cooperation beyond the individual governments. In this context, I'm confident that 2021 EAS Congress will serve as an ideal platform for discussions which serves to lead a meaningful consensus in the upcoming UN Environmental Assembly. In order to restore and preserve pristine blue sea in a sustainable manner for future generations, the humanity as a whole shall be determined to learn how to embrace and follow the ways of the sea. On behalf of my ministry, I remain open to the voice and the needs of the sea throughout the future. To realize the sustainable development of the East Asian Sea, Korea will closely cooperate with the PEMSEA Secretariat and country partners. I'd like to once again offer my gratitude for the success of this Congress. I also sincerely wish you the best luck in your future journey, good health, and wellness. Thank you very much indeed for your kind attention. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Minister Moon. We will now move on to Singapore. Please welcome our next speakers, Honorable Hasri Hassan, Director of International Policy, Ministry of Sustainability and Environment of the Republic of Singapore. Director Hassan, you may now have the floor.
His Excellency Dr. Preah Sihanouk, Minister of Environment of the Kingdom of Cambodia, His Excellency Roy Simatu, Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of the Republic of the Philippines, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Kingdom of Cambodia and the PEMSEA Resource Facility for hosting and organizing today's forum. This forum's theme of advancing our sustainable development agenda, Road to 2030 for healthy oceans, people and economies is timely. It has been about 2 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has upended lives and placed an enormous strain on countries, economies, and the environment. But this crisis also gives us an opportunity to rebuild and recover towards more sustainable and resilient pathways. The seas of East Asia sustain our regional ecosystem. They are a repository of biodiversity, a buffer for climate change, critical arteries of trade, and a source of jobs and livelihoods for our people. As a small island state, Singapore places great importance in the sustainable and integrated management of our coast and marine environment as part of our sustainability agenda. This year, we unveiled the Singapore Green Plan 2030, which outlines the whole-of-nation approach to sustainable development. The plan charts ambitious and concrete targets over the next 10 years, which will strengthen our efforts to fulfill our obligations under the Paris Agreement and towards achieving the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The plan has 5 pillars: city in nature, energy reset, sustainable living, green economy, and resilient future. As part of the Green Plan, we will intensify nature and restore waterways and water bodies in our parks and gardens to facilitate conservation of our biodiversity. We will also continue to promote circular economy approaches, which will be key in helping us navigate an increasingly resource-constrained world. Apart from reducing waste production and maximizing resource efficiency, adopting a circular economy approach will also help us tackle marine litter and manage our coastal marine environment in a holistic manner. Singapore has adopted and will continue to promote the integrated urban coastal management framework, which is a proactive planning and management framework for sustainable development of the marine and coastal areas in an urban context. It is a dynamic and iterative process based on establishing continuous baselines and feedback loops to flexibly address and cope with the inherent complexity of coastal and marine environment issues in an urban setting. Singapore's IUCM framework also seeks to enhance coordination of governmental stakeholders and policy coherence, and encourage active partnerships to optimize the use of coastal resources and conservation of sensitive coastal habitats amidst urban coastal development. Earlier this year, we began to develop Khatib Boksu, a 40-hectare nature park. It was once a prawn farming area. Khatib Boksu's mangroves and mudflats will be restored by 2024 with over 9 kilometers of waterways and protected as part of Singapore's nature park network. This will extend the natural habitat for biodiversity while providing more nature spaces for the community. As part of our efforts to encourage active partnerships with the community, we have worked with local stakeholders to develop guidelines to promote catch and release of undersized fish. Other guidelines to educate the public on responsible fishing practices have also been developed. Such initiatives seek to raise awareness of the need to ensure sustainability of our coastal environment and ensure that community activities can continue to thrive in harmony with the environment. Looking ahead, integrated urban coastal management will continue to play an important part in Singapore's sustainability journey as we tackle coastal and marine environment issues in an urban setting. As we have heard today, much has been done by countries to scale up integrated coastal management measures in our region. We must continue these efforts as we work towards long-term sustainability of our coast and marine environment. However, country efforts alone will not be sufficient in overcoming the challenges of our global commons. As coastal communities, we must leverage on shared experiences, work with all partners and stakeholders, and find ways to promote greater sustainability in the East Asian seas. Let me conclude with a quote from Japanese writer Akutagawa, who said that individually, we are one drop, but together, we are an ocean. Singapore looks forward to working with all countries, partners, and stakeholders as we make collective strides towards sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Hassan. I'm pleased to introduce our next speakers, Honorable Cassius Guterres, Director General for Fishery, Aquaculture and Marine Resources of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fishery of Timor-Leste. Honorable Director General, the floor is yours.
Thank you, His Excellency Minister of Royal Cambodia, Mr. Sai Samal, Excellencies, delegate, partners, and delegate, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon from Timor-Leste. It is a great honor to meet with you all, my partners, from this very specific moment. Before I begin, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the Royal Government of Cambodia through the Ministry of Environment, as well as the Provincial Administration of Sihanouk for successful organizing and convening the EAS Congress and the Ministerial Forum. On behalf of the government of Timor-Leste, I am pleased to share with you that we all have faced the threatened situation, the pandemic COVID-19, where is the cause of change of our normal activity. This situation has gone, and we all wish not to have the similar experiences in the future. Excellencies, delegate, partners, ladies and gentlemen, we never behave that we being PEMSEA country partners for more than 15 years, and we all together have demonstrated and benefit from the strategy, integrated and vision-oriented approach of PEMSEA. Timor-Leste has learned a lot from the experiences of being together as PEMSEA country partners, and we will have more in the future. The STCs and ICM program demonstrated approach for collaborate and strategic planning, capacity, and partnership building, and regional and local levels. In case of Timor-Leste, the ICM program has been initiated in the municipality of Dili, Manatutu, and Lixa, which over 30 to 40% of the country coastline. The three municipalities have established the multi-agency ICM task team and developed their respective coastal strategies, which could serve as guide in local planning and as demonstrate the decentralization of progress. As part of ICM implementation, MPA management was also enhanced in some areas such as Suku Villa Mometa Atauru Island in Dili has shown increased management effectiveness. The Green School program in Liksa, implemented the partnership with the Secretary of State of Environment, has become of eco enterprise. Revenue obtained from the recycling of sold was used as a revolving fund. The success of this program is be replicated in the Manatuto. There is a ICM learning centers established in the National University of Timor-Leste and Oriental University of Timor-Leste, which continue to support the ICM sites through their respective academic, research, and extension program. As I noted that some delays have encountered the approval for the National Ocean Police, but the government of Timor-Leste is maintained its commitment to pursue the adoption of once of the National Ocean Police has adopted. It will serve an important contribution to our commitment to blue economy and to our National Strategic Development Plan 2011-2030. Adoption of national policy will also fulfill one of our commitment to implementing the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 14, Life Below Water, and other global agreements. Excellencies, delegate partners, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward to ICM will continue to be a key priority, and we also happy that through the ongoing of Arafura Timor Sea Action Program, or ATSI second, we able to further strengthen ICM activity, particularly in the post administrative of Bariki in Manatutu, and address sustainable fisheries management, increase resilience, and food security. Through the PEMSEA platform, we have made significant advance on the ground, but we also recognize that the coastal and marine protection and development require dedicated long-term effort. With this, the government of Timor-Leste again is committed to support the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 and assure that the Timor-Leste will actively participate in the development of next SDG implementation plan from 2023 to 2027. Timor-Leste has commitment to continue to financial support to sustain the provision of PEMSEA Secretariat and technical service to countries of the region. May the partnership that we all have a careful cultivate from 28 years be further strengthened and expanded. As we sign the 7th EAS Ministerial Declaration, we look forward to working with you all or the partners, PEMSEA partners, in the moving to this region toward the future we want. Once again, thank you for and good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you, Director General Guterres. To deliver the statement on behalf of Vietnam, may I call on Honorable Deputy Minister Le Minh Ngan of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Deputy Minister Le Minh Ngan, you may proceed with your statement.
Mr. Saisaman, Ministers of Environment, Cambodia. Excellent Ministers of the PEMSEA country partners. And the chairs of the EAS Partnership Council, ladies and gentlemen.
Tôi rất vinh dự được đại diện cho chính phủ Việt Nam với tư cách là trưởng đoàn Việt Nam tham dự Đại hội Biển Đông Á năm 2021 và diễn đàn bộ trưởng lần thứ 7 được tổ chức tại tỉnh Preah Sihanouk, Vương quốc Campuchia.
I am honored to represent the government of Vietnam as head of the Vietnamese delegation to attend the 2021 East Asian Seas Congress and the 7th Ministerial Forum to be held from December 1 to 2nd, 2021 in Preah Sihanouk Province, Kingdom of Cambodia. Vietnam has become a member of PEMSEA since 2003, starting with the signing of Preah Declaration and its commitment to implement the strategies for sustainable development of the East Asian Seas. Since then, Vietnam has made many efforts in promoting the implementation of integrated coastal zone management, working together with other countries in the East Asian Seas. With the support of the international organization, especially PEMSEA, Vietnam has successfully implemented SEA, especially replications of ICZM in coastal province, promulgate and implement the strategy for integrated coastal zone management to 2020 with the visions to 2030, promulgate the law on marine and island resources and environment, develop and publish a national report on the state, oceans and coast 2018, Blue Economic Growth National Report on the state of the sea and islands for the period of 2016 to 2020, reports on the current states of the provincial and establish national and local multi-sectoral coordination mechanisms in implementation of coastal and marine economic development, integrating content on coastal and marine management. Currently, in order to strengthen the protection of marine coastal resources, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment is implementing the formulation of National Marine Spatial Plan and a Master Plan for Sustainable Exploitation and Use of Coastal Resources based on the economic ecosystem approach. Develop strategies for sustainable exploitation and use of natural resources and environmental protection of seas and islands. Sir, Madam, distinguished guests, the 8th Conference of the 12th Party Central Committee issues Resolution number 36, dated October, on the strategies for sustainable development of Vietnam marine economy to 2030 with a vision to 2045. Accordingly, sustainable development of the marine economy on the basis of green growth, conservation, and this is a demonstration of Vietnam's commitment to the sustainable development of the UN agenda and the international commitments such as the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework and the other relevant commitments. We wish to cooperate with all countries in the world and other partners, act together and share best practice and experience toward common goal of sustainable development in the region of East Asian Sea. We pledge to continue to support and promote the implementation of SDS-SEA in Vietnam. On behalf of the Vietnamese delegation, I would like to thank the government of Kingdom of Cambodia and PEMSEA for successfully organizing the 2021 East Asia Sea Congress. Wishing you health and great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister Le Minh An. Last but not least, on the part of Cambodia, I would like to call on His Excellency Sao Sapip, Secretary of State of MOE, to deliver our country's statement. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Excellency Minister, Chair of the 7th EAS Ministerial Forum, Excellency Minister of the PEMSEA country partner, distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and pleasure to join Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, in the 7th East Asian Sea Ministerial Forum and deliver Cambodia's statement on behalf of His Excellency Sai Samal, Minister of Environment. In this respect, I would like to share with you all our key development progress made in Cambodia, which are in line with our commitment to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Strategy for the East Asian Sea, SDS-SEA, as well as the advancement of Global Sustainable Development Agenda. In 2020, we successfully completed the national component of the JEF UNDP PEMSEA project on scaling up SDS-SEA implementation. As one of the 8 PEMSEA countries that have participated in and benefited from the 4 phases of JEF support for the implementation of the SDS-SEA, Cambodia would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to JEF UNDP PEMSEA Secretariat, our development partner, and other relevant stakeholders for their strong support and assistance, which led us to where we are today. By aligning our national and local coastal and marine development strategy and plans with the SDS-SEA through the integrated management approach, we have been able to put in place a number of governance and technical measures to address cross-cutting environment and socio-economic issues. Furthermore, to strengthen the coastal marine management at national level, a white paper has been developed with recommendations for harmonizing national policy laws as well as strengthening institutional mechanisms. At the local level, coastal strategy, which are the key initiative for integrating disaster risk and climate change adaptation into provincial, has been adopted and are implementing in our 4 coastal provinces. In support of habitat protection and management and sustainable fishery, the coastal strategy for the province of Kampot integrated the sustainable management of its seagrass bed and is currently updating its coastal use zone planning. For the province of Preah Sihanouk, apart from Koh Rong Marine National Park, which officially declared in 2016, we have been working toward the official declaration of Kampong Smach as our 2nd marine fishery management area, MFMA. With the support from Cambodian Climate Change Alliance, the province is currently implementing activity to further strengthening Kampong Smach MFMA management and implementation in support of the coastal and marine resources protected and promoting coastal resilience. In Cape Province, a 301-hectare community-based mangrove protected area has been established in Angkal commune to help address saltwater intrusion in agricultural land. In 2018, a marine fishery management area was also established in the province of Koh Pao, and Koh Tam Sai archipelago, covering 11,307 hectares of coastal reef, seagrass bed, and mangrove forests. In line with our commitment to pollution reduction and waste management, the national and local government have worked collaboratively treatment facility in Sihanoukville. To date, 5 sewage treatment plants have been constructed and capacity of the existing treatment plant has been increased to serve thousands of households and establishments. The Sihanoukville Pollution Assessment, a master plan of development of a municipal sewerage and drainage system, and a public pollution study were completed with assistance from development partner. With support from MOE and Republic of Korea, Sihanoukville Environment Laboratory has been established to monitor the province's water quality. In Kokong, community-based solid waste management has been established. With regard to green development, the Royal Government has been conducting a comprehensive study to formulate a master plan with a vision to turn Sihanoukville into a model multi-purpose special economic zone. Incorporating all aspects, economic, social, cultural, and environmental, the master plan will focus on economic and industrial development, industrial land management, labor market, vocational training, public facilities such as water, energy, gas, and solid waste, infrastructure, means of transportation, tourism, ecology, biodiversity, livability, and well-being, design and urbanization, land use management, green belt management, institutional framework, and 5-year action plan. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as part of our monitoring framework on the state of local and national ecosystem services, local state of the coast, SOC, reports has been developed in a number of sites. With a national SOC report on blue economy was developed, Cambodia is committed to further develop SOC report to guide our future planning and action. At subnational level, we are also part of the continuing cooperation in the Gulf of Thailand, particularly in the implementation of the GOT frameworks program for joint oil spill preparedness and response. We have developed national guidelines for the use of dispersion, and we aim to refine our national oil spill contingency plan. Recognizing the need for continuous capacity building, we would like to express our appreciation to the Royal University of Phnom Penh, RUPP, which serves as one of the PEMSEA ICM Learning Center for providing technical training, mainstreaming of ICM into RUPP's curriculum, and development of ICM training manual. The foundation provided by PEMSEA Partnership has been contributed to leveraging new partnerships and additional funding to address emerging problems in Cambodia. With support from government of Sweden and UNDP, a circular economy state strategy and action plan was developed. Government of Japan, together with UNDP, also signed a 3 million grant agreement to help combat marine plastic litter. Cambodia is also one of the participating countries for the IMO PEMSEA for reducing maritime transport greenhouse gas emissions through increased energy efficiency of ship and port activity in East Asia. Currently, a project preparation phase in the JEF UNDP ASEAN project on reducing pollution and preserving environmental flow in the EAS through IOBM, currently in the pipeline. Through these efforts, we hope to contribute to achieving our regional and global targets and commitment. We will continue to implement national strategic plan on green growth, national plan on biodiversity and climate change, and actively participate in international discussion and dialogue on key environment challenges. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today, Cambodia, with our PEMSEA family, will sign the 7th EAS Ministerial Declaration to reaffirm our commitment to the SDS, SEA, and to support the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 as a strategic way forward in addressing the complex tasks ahead of us. Building on our 20 years history as a member of PEMSEA, we are fully committed and ready to work in synergy with the rest of the region, so we can emerge stronger from the combined impact of pandemic, climate change, and ocean challenges. Together, we are advancing our Sustainable Development Agenda, Road to the 2030 for healthy ocean, people, and economy. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Once again, thank you to my fellow ministers, vice ministers, senior government officials for your inspiring message. We will now proceed to our next agenda. To formalize our commitment in sustaining the momentum we have gained from the implementation of the SDSC, and to further accelerate our support to Sustainable Development Agenda, may I call on the Executive Director of PEMSEA to introduce Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declarations. After the presentation, we will proceed with the signing ceremony. Executive Director, Ms. Amy Gonzalez, you may have the floor.
Thank you, Minister Sai Samal. Good morning, good afternoon, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. My task today is to walk you through the key features of the draft Ministerial Declaration. The Preah Sihanouk Declaration is a product of several rounds of consultations at both the national and the regional level. The regional consultation process took place in the East Asian Seas Partnership Council, which started in July 2020 until last month. The Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration is a consensus document presented for your approval and signature. Next slide, please. The Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration is a pledge to continue and upscale the implementation of our shared regional framework, the Sustainable Development Strategy for the Seas of East Asia, which lay out strategic regional priority actions to accelerate blue economy and sustainable development, and to support countries' green recovery efforts to build back better and stronger from the impacts of the COVID-19. It is also our collective response in support of the UN Decade of Ocean Science and Ecosystem Restoration, and aligned with the commitment to help countries achieve the UN SDGs, Paris Agreement, and the Aichi biodiversity targets. Next slide, please. The PEMSEA the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration summarizes the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030, which is anchored in our collective vision of healthy ocean, people, and economies, hope, and effective governance. The document also provides guidance in the development of the next SDSC 5-year implementation plan in collaboration with PEMSEA partners, networks, and collaborators, while at the same time it builds on PEMSEA's strengths and experiences on integrated coastal management, integrated urban coastal management, blue economy, inclusive and coordinated partnerships, and network. Finally, it concludes with a call to action to sustain partnerships with non-country partners, local governments, the private sector, the academe, youth network, NGOs, media, financing institutions, and the international community. It reaffirms the country partner support to the PEMSEA Resource Facility to build regional, national, local capacities, facilitate knowledge exchange, and leverage technical expertise, skills, and resources for sustainable coastal and ocean management. It also commits us all to support green recovery to build back better, healthier ocean, people, and economies. With this, Your Excellencies, I would like to endorse the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration for your collective approval and signature. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amy Gonzalez. At this point, may we request all country heads of delegation to please be ready for the signing ceremony, and senior government officials or members of each country delegation to serve as witnesses. Some of the senior government officials who will serve as witnesses may stand behind their respective heads of delegation. Please note that each country will be signing 3 copies of the Preah Sihanouk Declaration. May we also remind the heads of delegation to please sign on the blank space on top of the signature line. Please ensure that your signature will not overlap with the line. Thank you very much. All right, so we see everyone getting ready there for the signatures. I believe everyone is in place. Do we have everyone there? Yes, some people are still getting into place. Thank you for fixing it so that everyone be seen. All country ministers or heads of delegation may now proceed with the signing of the declaration. All right, so if we can, yes, you may all proceed now. I think some of you are taking photos in the countries there, in their respective locations. There are some photo ops, but for those who are ready, may we request you to please go ahead and proceed with signing the declaration. And just a reminder to please sign on the blank space on top of the signature line and ensure that your signature will not overlap with the line. So you are now witnessing another milestone in the history of PEMSEA and the EAS Ministerial Forum. Ministers and heads of delegation from the 11 PEMSEA country partners are now signing the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration, advancing our Sustainable Development Agenda, Road to 2030 for Healthy Ocean, People, and Economies, or HOPE. Do we see them signing? Some applause there from some of our, there we're seeing that in Sihanoukville. All right, so have we completed the signing? Congratulations, everyone. A lot of applause. Congratulations, very historic. Thank you very much, everyone. So we will now proceed with the photo session. We will be taking 3 photos. The first photo will focus on the ministers or heads of delegation. So you may remain in your current sitting position while holding a copy of the signed declaration for everyone to see. So is everyone ready? Thank you. Okay. So to our heads of delegation, please do hold a copy of the signed declaration so everyone can see. Now we'll ask you to sit or stand up straight and look straight into the camera and kindly smile. Okay, Your Excellencies, are you ready? Okay. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I believe our pictures have been taken. Thank you very much. Beautiful photos. Wonderful for our documentation. Okay, we will move on to the second photo. Our country delegations will now be joined by Dr. Chua Tiaeng, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Yuono, Dr. Ka, Dr. O, Dr. Monanith, and Dr. Furukawa. May we ask you please to turn on your videos and please be ready and look straight into the camera. Do we have everybody's videos now? We have a blank video. I'm not sure who this is, but okay, everyone is in place. All right. So please, may I ask all of you to kindly look straight into the camera and ready on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Wonderful, great pictures and beautiful smiles. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Okay, we shall move on to the third photo. For this photo, we will be taking in succession several group photos for all our partners and collaborators present here today. So for those converging in one room, may we ask you to zoom out your camera so everyone may be seen. I think some of you have big groups, okay? Everybody's ready? Great, okay, everyone is in place, thank you. You all look great. So may I ask you all again to please look straight into the camera and smile, and I will count. Please be ready on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, great, we got that. We have several frames though, so please be patient. Okay, we'll take another one. We have a lot of attendees here, so we have several frames to take. Again, smile. And there you go. Okay, I think a few more frames. We have a lot of participants here, which is very good. A lot of us here witnessing and celebrating this momentous occasion. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so a few more frames to go. Please keep smiling. I think you can see yourselves. Okay, we got that? Yes? Okay, another frame. Okay, just a few more pictures. Wonderful. Okay, so again, these are photos of our different partners, collaborators who are present here today. Okay, thank you very much everyone for your patience and for posing for those pictures. For the members of the PEMSEA Resource Facility, which includes the current and former staff, please note that we will take a separate group photo after the 7th MF. Thank you again, everyone. I now turn over the floor back to our MF Chair, His Excellency Sai Samal. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Before I officially close the forum, may I request for the East Asia Sea Partnership Council Chair to deliver a closing message on behalf of the PEMSEA country and non-country partners. Please welcome Mr. Arif Yuwono. Mr. Yuwono, please proceed.
Excellencies, Chair Emeritus of PEMSEA, member of the EAS Partnership Council and Executive Committee, Executive Director of PEMSEA, and colleagues from PRF, PEMSEA Resource Facility, distinguished delegates, observers, ladies and gentlemen. Warm greetings from Jakarta. On behalf of the East Asian Seas Partnership Council and its Executive Committee, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to the Royal Government of Cambodia, particularly the Ministry of Environment and the administration of Preah Sihanouk, as well as the members of the PEMSEA Resource Facility for their strong support and effort in organizing the 7th East Asian Seas Congress and Ministerial Forum despite the enormous challenges under the new normal. I would like to convey our sincere appreciation to all PEMSEA partners, networks, and collaborators from local to international level, and to our minister and senior official for keeping the flame of our partnership alive, carrying on the work in support of the EASC, especially during this difficult time. Indeed, congratulations are in order. It is heartening to see how far our partnership and commitment for a better East Asia has taken us. Together, we have transformed PEMSEA from a marine pollution project into an internationally recognized intergovernmental organization on regional ocean governance. For 20 years, we have developed and provided solutions and services ranging from advisory and project services, knowledge management, certification, facilitation, and secretariat services, for the benefit of our countries. Our concerted efforts have resulted to continuing expansion of our ICM brand, starting from 2 ICM sites to now 44 sites, covering more than 45% of region coastline, surpassing our initial 25% target. And our plan is to extend the same principle to integrate river basin management and integrated maritime transport modalities. What our PEMSEA experience has always shown us is that challenges abound, but so do opportunities. The 7th Ministerial Declaration signed by our ministers today highlight the need for a strategic approach if we are to successfully overcome the compounding challenges of the pandemic, climate change, and ocean degradation, among others. To move the Sustainable Development Agenda forward, it is integral that we remain focused on our vision of healthy ocean, people, and economies. And this is exactly what we intend to do through the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 and the subsequent development of the SDSC medium-term plan for 2023 to 2027. The beauty of the PEMSEA platform is that it allows us to combine our resources and strength and align country green economy development plans in support of bigger goals. The decade of ocean science and ecosystem restoration provide a good opportunity to scale up PEMSEA innovative work. This will also enable us to benefit from new scientific and policy development program and financing opportunity. To sustain the gains from over 2 decades, we will continue collaborative works, particularly on further strengthening of ICM and Blue Economy initiative. We are also pleased that country voluntary contribution to sustain PEMSEA operation is increasing. In addition to the 6 countries already providing voluntary contribution, we welcome Indonesia's contribution following the ratification of legal recognition to the PEMSEA by the Indonesian government. We are thankful to all countries for continuing to provide in-kind and technical support for various FDSC and ICM-related in-country efforts. We are also pleased to know that in addition to an ongoing project on Arafura Timor Sea project, ASEAN-Norway collaboration on local capacity development and marine plastic pollution. Several more are already in the pipelines to promote integrated river basin management, reduce greenhouse gas emission in the maritime transport sector, and effective management of marine protected areas. In large marine ecosystem, we look forward to commencing some of these projects by next year and in the succeeding years together with various development partners. The 7 Ministerial Forums and Declaration not only marks another milestone in PEMSEA history, but it also challenges us to continue redefining coastal and ocean governance toward better years ahead. Once again, thank you to our minister and senior official and to all for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Arif Yuwono. Your Excellency, Head of Delegates, Governor Preah Sihanouk, PEMSEA Chair Emeritus, distinguished delegates, observers, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by thanking everyone your active participation and contribution to this conference. It has been a pleasure to work with you all. As we are about to close Ministerial Forum, I could not help but to be proud to all that we have achieved over the past month in line with conduct of various East Asian Congress activity. While we are unable to convene in person, the Royal Government of Cambodia deeply appreciate your strong support, which made every first virtual EAS Congress and Ministerial Forum a resounding success. Indeed, this will go down in PEMSEA history as one of the most memorable Congress and Ministerial Forum that we have conducted. We all know that the path ahead will not be easy, but by working as one region, with our strong conviction and inspired by a common vision, we can steer this new decade to our advantage. With the adoption of the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration and the commitment on the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030, I look forward to a closer collaboration with our PEMSEA country and non-country partnership, as well as various network and collaborators of PEMSEA to design and put to effective implementation of the next SDSC Medium-Term Plan 2023-2027. I also look forward to the further expansion and strengthening of ICM and the upcoming work on integrated river basin management and integrated transport modality as an extension of ICBM applications and more blue economy initiative in the region, with continuing support from various partners from local, regional, and international level. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that by next year we will already be able to see each other in person in various PEMSEA and ocean-related forums. Our invitation for you to visit Preah Sihanouk province and other ICBM sites of Cambodia will always be open, and we look forward to welcome you anytime in the futures. In the meantime, I wish everyone a good health, and to my fellow Cambodians who have joined us here in Sihanouk, a safe trip back to your home. I hereby declare the 7th EASC Ministerial Forum officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Sai Samal. Indeed, a lot to be proud of. And that concludes the 7th EAS Ministerial Forum. Thank you once again to our honorable ministers and heads of delegation and to all PEMSEA partners and stakeholders for joining us in this momentous event. Congratulations on all your actions and commitments to build a better, more sustainable world. Now, may we remind the PRF staff once again, including former PRF staff with us today, to please stay after this for our group photo. May we also request Dr. Chua Tia Eng to please join the PRF group photo. In 15 minutes, we will be transitioning into the post-ministerial forum press conference. May we request the accredited members of media and our panel of speakers and interested participants to please stay in the same Zoom link. All other ministerial forum delegates who are not part of the press conference may proceed to log out. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and keep safe.
Hi, Dr. Chua. 7th Ministerial Forum. Imagine, you have to stay until the 10th, huh? I think this is it. Uh-oh. Wala na siguro. Sige na lang. Okay, who will take the photo, Rod? Or... Wala kayo ads.
May we request media to please add the other PRF. Just double checking. Daisy, is Daisy there?
Actually, we already add all
All
the
the
panelists
PRF?
with PEMSEA and PRF in the first nickname, in the first
Okay.
username. That's all
Okay.
we got. Is there
Okay, thank you.
any person missing?
We're double checking now. PEMSEA Secretariat, Dr. Chua
Mr. Arif Yuwono is not on cam. We already asked to. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Arif Yuwono.
Yeah, okay. We can proceed. More media. Is Nancy, Daisy, and Ingrid also connected? Won Taishin is also in the room. So some colleagues, I think we only have how many here? Okay. So maybe we can.
Okay, some participant is in panel attendees room.
Yes.
We will add it to
move.
panelists now.
Yes, please move Won Taishin in the panelist group so we can include them in the photo. Yes, that's Yan. Daisy Padayaw, Mary Ann de la Peña, Nancy Bermas, Ingrid Narcisse, Thomas Bell,
But as
okay, so
for request from Miss Kit, we only
currently have 20.
box in here. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Let's proceed, Brian.
Mr. Thomas Bell, maybe you can turn on the video.
Dr. Chua, may we request you to adjust your screen a little bit so we can see your full face. A bit there. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Thank you. So, Nancy and Daisy. There's Nancy. John, can you join Adi instead so we can give space for Daisy? Instead of John in the last screen, more media, can we accommodate please another staff, Daisy Padayaw? Nancy, John said you are so serious. There you go. Okay. I think we're ready. Please give us the signal, Brian.
Yes, maybe from Rod or on your side also screenshot this view. We will take a photo in 3, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three.
Last.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we do a walkie
Again?
shot, please?
Sorry?
Walkie shot. Okay, everyone. Those who do not have mask, please say PEMSEA. Ready, Brian?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Chua.
Thank you, Dr. Chua.
So we still have one last, which is the press conference, which will be coordinated by our colleague Reggie. Reggie, take it over. Thank you very much. We'll see you at the press con. So more media,
Yes,
you may
see you.
say the transition filler videos. Thank you very much.
Yes. We'll do that.
Thank you.
The ocean covers almost 3/4 of the planet. It's difficult to overstate the importance of the ocean for our life on this planet. Every second breath we take comes from the ocean. It's the source of much of our food and of our water. We travel and trade upon it, brings us joy and economic benefits in the shape of the world's tourism industry. It is clear that appropriate management of the ocean resources will be the key to reducing poverty and to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
Ladies and gentlemen and members of the media from the PEMSEA country partners, please stand by. We will commence the press conference in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the media from the PEMSEA country partners, good afternoon or good morning. Before we start, please take note of the following guidelines. For our media guests, we'd like to request you to please state your name and media outlet in your Zoom profile. Kindly also stay on mute during the introduction and opening remarks. Please welcome our panel of speakers, His Excellency Sai Samal, Minister of the Ministry of Environment of Cambodia, and Chair of the EAS Congress Main Conference and 7th Ministerial Forum. Mr. Arif Yuwono, Chair of the East Agencies Partnership Council, and Ms. Amy Gonzalez, Executive Director of PEMSEA.
Mitzi, I believe we have the Secretary of State, His Excellency Eng Supalit, no? As part of the press panel.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Amy, for adding that in. And joining us today also are representatives, media representatives from the PEMSEA country partners, as well as representatives from regional environmental media groups and various PEMSEA stakeholders. Okay, to open the press conference, please welcome Ms. Amy Gonzalez, Executive Director of PEMSEA.
Thank you, Mitzi. His Excellency, Mr. Eng Supalit, Arif Yuwono, our East Agencies Partnership Council Chair, our friends from the media, colleagues, observers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the 7th Ministerial Forum press conference. Earlier today, we all witnessed a major milestone as heads of delegation, ministers, and senior government officials of the 11 countries in the East Asian Seas region pledged their continuing commitment to the Sustainable Development Strategy for the Seas of East Asia, or what we call the SDSC, our green recovery efforts and joint regional actions to build back better from the global pandemic. This morning's signing of the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration supports the launching of the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 that is anchored on the SDSC vision, the commitment to blue economy, and overall sustainable development agenda. The declaration also serves as the East Asian Sea's response to the decade of ocean science and ecosystem restoration. More importantly, the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration provides an inflection point in addressing the many challenges as well as opportunities we all need to undertake towards a full recovery. As we have seen during the discussions over the past 2 days of the Congress and today's Ministerial Forum, the unmistakable link between human health and ocean health cannot be overemphasized. During the recently held COP26 in Glasgow, several countries in the Asia-Pacific region were identified as extremely vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. This morning, you heard the individual pledges of the 11 PEMSEA country partners on how we can collectively address not only climate change, but put equal focus on other environmental issues, such as protecting marine biodiversity, preventing habitat degradation, and ensuring a healthy ocean for the millions of people who depend on it as a source of food, income, livelihood, and recreation. We recognize the power of the media to help spur not only government officials, policymakers, private sector, and financial institutions into collective action. We need your help and support to the power of your words and influence to inform and educate ordinary citizens to do their part in advancing our sustainable development agenda for a healthy ocean, people, and economies. We are now ready to take your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amy Gonzalez. Once again, I'd like to announce our panelists today. Of course, you just heard her, Ms. Amy Gonzalez, Executive Director of PEMSEA, Mr. Arif Yuwono, Chair of the East Asian Seas Partnership Council, and His Excellency Secretary of State of Cambodia, Eng Sopalet. Thank you very much. And we will now proceed with the questions and answers. Thanks again to our media friends who have joined us here today and for your patience. We did run late today with the program. If you would like to ask a question, please just use the raise hand button on your screen and I will call on you. And please do ensure that your video and microphones are on, and please identify yourselves and your media outlets as you ask your questions. Please also signify to whom you'd like to direct your question. And just a reminder for those of you tuned in via Facebook, you can also send in your questions or input them in the Zoom chat box. So at this point, I'm looking, do we see any raised hands? I see a question here that has been typed into the chat box. This is coming from Dara Von, a reporter from the Phnom Penh Post, registering for the 7th East Asian Seas Ministerial Forum and Post-Forum Press Conference. So the question, actually 2 questions. What is the next 3-year strategic plan of the East Asia Seas Conference and Ministerial committed to the sustainable development of the global and regional seas for rapid development? Who would like to take that? Would that be Amy or Mr. Yuwono? Did you get that question? So the question is, what is the next 3-year strategic plan of the EAS conference and ministerial, I guess, in terms of commitments to the sustainable development of global and regional seas for rapid development? Amy, would you like to take that, or would? Or is it Mr. Yuwono? Sorry, Mr. Yuwono. Mr. Yuwono. We can't hear Mr. Yuwono. I'm sorry. I think there's some trouble.
Okay.
There, yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I think from the 3 years from now, PEMSEA will try to develop, disseminate first EAS 21 report, and then trying to engage with the CSC implementation plan 2023 and 2027, and also trying to contribute or share our experience and knowledge, PEMSEA experience and knowledge. With a long experience, we try to contribute to the global solution. we know that now we just finished with COP26, Glasgow, climate pact. I believe that everybody know that the consequence of that pact is that one thing that for sure is ocean is already under the UN FCC scheme, meaning that we have to do something for ocean. And I believe that PEMSEA have a long experience and then also have a knowledge, not only the local level, but also at the national level and also global level. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yuano. I'd like to just acknowledge our media who have taken their time out to be with us today. So we have 16 media firms, wow, in Sihanoukville, representing TV, radio, and the press. And also joining us here online, we have Phnom Penh Post, Fresh News, AMS, Aspara TV, Khmer Times, National Radio of Kampuchea, Business World. And we also have media focal points for MOEF, Indonesia, MONRE, Lao PDR, OPRI of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Japan, VASI, and Vietnam. Thank you very much for joining here today, although for some of you it might be through lunchtime. Thank you for being here. Remember that you can also send in your questions here via the Zoom chat box or in the Q&A section. And please do write your name, your outlet, and to whom your question is for. At this point, may I ask a question to His Excellency Ang Sopaleth? You've been such an excellent host for this Congress. Thank you for that. If I may ask you, basically, what to you is the significance of this EAS Congress and the 7th Ministerial Forum to Cambodia's coastal and ocean programs? What is next for Cambodia or MOE following this event?
Thank you very much for the questions. Actually, after this EMS, we are expecting what we have charted out as stated in our declarations, and we will follow up very closely on that. And hopefully, in the upcoming future, we are wearing the hat as a doctors to take care of the health of our oceans, and that will bring a better breathing air for all the people, for all the populations, as being stated by our colleague from the United Nations, UNDP, earlier, saying that all our breath is from the oceans, and that's what we are working toward to, and what we are hoping to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Yes, very important. We're also recognizing the importance of that more at this time. Amy, if I may go to you, as Executive Director of PEMSEA and in line with a roadmap to 2030, could you expound on the specific strategies that PEMSEA would employ to strengthen further and sustain partnerships and to contribute to building back better from the impact of this global pandemic we're in?
Yeah, thank you for that, Mitzi. As you said, as Pa Arif mentioned, rather, we will be operationalizing the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030, not only through a 3-year cycle plan, but actually 5 years. So we are just about to finish our implementation plan in 2022 and then commence the next 5-year cycle. So what are the specific programs concretely? So we had 4 key components. One is on effective governance, which we would strive to improve policies to mainstream integrated coastal management. I think all of you have heard countries this morning committing to mainstreaming integrated coastal management and continue to adopt tools and mechanisms that will support integrated, coordinated, and science-based decision-making processes. Strengthen technical, and resource capacity. So there's an element of institution building, policy strengthening, and then technical and capacity building, particularly at the local level, local governments and coastal communities who are the frontliners in ocean and coastal development. The second would be to engage local communities as responsible and also effective stewards. So we do co-management, co-design with them in terms of programs on the ground. And then on healthy economies, we would like to push to, amid the uncertainties, accelerate blue investments and ensure sustainable and efficient utilization of coastal and ocean ecosystems through income generating jobs, promoting food security, livelihoods, etc.
Thank you very much. I mean, a lot of work ahead, but very challenging, but also very exciting. Thank you. I know we have a lot of media there in Sihanoukville. Are there any questions? Would anyone like to ask? Maybe live, it would be great to hear from our media there. Maybe your own thoughts on the local situation there for Cambodia. Maybe we can see a shot. We have a lot of cameras there. We have a beautiful setup in Sihanoukville. If we can see the members of the media, would anyone like to, or even comment, to talk about maybe some feedback? Anyone would like to share what they've seen or heard so far? Okay, so I don't know if we can get that camera shot yet, but anyway, okay, we're seeing a different shot, but it would be great to see or hear from you, your own voices here during this press conference. All right, if not, maybe we'll get to that a bit later. I'd like to throw a question next, please, to Dr. Yuwono. May I ask you, Dr. Yuwono, what does the 7th Ministerial Declaration seek to achieve, and how is this one different from the previous ministerial declarations?
Thank you for your question. If you read the Ministerial Declaration, I think there are a lot of elements, but at least divided into 3 main elements. The first is preambular paragraph, is describing about the history, describing about our success, is talking about also the COVID-19, climate change, something. And then the second element is talking about the commitment. If you have a landscape like that, and then what the commitment? The commitment is to continue to strengthen our the collaborative and work with stakeholders. And the third one, the third element is call for action. That's why we need again to collaborative action as one of key success for the next future of the implementation of Ministerial Declaration. That's actually I see that from the, and one thing that I see from the declaration is that we acknowledge that PEMSEA as a model of regional ocean governance and partnerships, and also reaffirm that SDSC as the reaffirm region framework of commitment for collaborative and inclusive action. So it is also the tool for helping a country and also achieving global commitment like UN SDG and 2030 and then climate change, Paris Agreement with its NDC and also Sendai framework, something like that. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Dr. Yuwono. We really need to act now. We have very little time to achieve those SDGs. So thank you very much. I'd like to go back now, please, to Your Excellency, Minister Sopolet, if I may ask for your perspective on Cambodia. In the case of Cambodia, what do you think are some of the challenges or issues that are very crucial to be included in the development and implementation of the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 and Sustainable Development Strategy for the Seas of East Asia Implementation Plan 2023 to 2027? What kind of support does Cambodia expect from PEMSEA to facilitate the development and implementation process?
That is a big question.
Sorry, it is. It's also a big job ahead.
Well, I'll make it short and simple. There are challenges that we are going to be encountering ahead of us. One of them, not to forget COVID-19 is still around. That's one challenge. And other challenges are ranging from the remaining gaps in existing relevant policies and legislations lack of sufficient capacity, resources, data knowledge, limited capacity of monitoring, surveillance, and enforcement, ineffective management, poor institutional capacity, absence of awareness, and poor socioeconomic status, SES, which influence the conservation of marine resources. The expected support from PEMSEA would be include, sorry, I'm going point by point, very straightforward, so it's easier to understand, it's easier to pick up. Closer collaboration with the other PEMSEA country and non-country partners, as well as the PEMSEA networks and collaborators. Further expansion and strengthening the ICM and Blue Economy Initiative in the region with the continuing support, data and knowledge sharing and exchange among the PEMSEA countries and non-country partners. And lastly, financial and technical support. It's very important, last but very important one, financial and technical supports and advices from implementation of the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and SDS SEA Implementation Plan 2023-2027.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. As we heard at yesterday's, we heard a lot of solutions or possible approaches also to what you mentioned at yesterday's plenary discussion. Since you mentioned it, if I can keep you, Your Excellency, you did mention this challenge, the current challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic. So if I just may ask to continue on that point, how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your government's efforts to protect our ocean? And how do you think that human health is connected with ocean health? How do you think this 7th Ministerial Declaration will help regarding this issue?
Well, in Cambodia, our Prime Minister has a very straightforward and committed vision to overcome the issues. He brought the policy that giving vaccine or vaccinated the whole populations series by series, ranging from the most condensed and the most populated series to the next. And with this policy, I think almost all our population has been vaccinated at least twice, and we are moving on into the third doses for the population, and recently we are opening almost everything, including, not to say nightclubs, in Cambodia. So we basically open the country with the correct policy that given out by our government, especially the Prime Minister of Cambodia. And this open up our country, the economy is open also. And before this opening, while we are doing the vaccination, the government has put in place the development of infrastructures of Preah Sihanouk province. We built during the COVID time, or prior, especially during the COVID time, we built 37 roads. And by the time the COVID is over, we open our country again, all these 37 roads has been done. And today, the Prime Minister is here also in Preah Sihanouk to inaugurate, to open the road to the public to use. So I think to us, COVID-19 is still a challenge. We're not ignoring it. It's still around, but we have succeeded with the correct policy to overcome it at the first stage and enable us to open the countries. And we are hoping that with this policy that we put forth, other countries will be followed, and so that we can come back to normal again with other countries, and we can, hopefully the next Congress will be in physical. With the 7 ministerial forums, I see that Cambodia is ready to move forward. Indeed, there's a challenge ahead of us, like I was mentioning earlier in your questions, but all in all, we are ready. And we are hoping that our country members are ready as well in the very near futures.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Minister Sopolev. Great to hear that. And the fact that you were able to successfully host this Congress, despite these challenges, is definitely showing this step forward. Thank you for sharing your experiences and lessons. It's very good to hear that we are moving forward, and this network that is being formed together is so important to work together to build a better, more sustainable world. Now, I'd like to bring back Amy. If I can ask you, Amy, I mean, as you said, you outlined some of the goals and strategies, a lot to do ahead. Can you talk a little bit about future achievements that you expect from the SDSC Implementation Plan 2023 to 2027 that would benefit PEMSEA member countries? And how would the next 5-year plan be different from the previous SDSC implementation plan?
Okay, I'll start with the second question in terms of the difference. Previous plans, we didn't have the COVID-19 or global pandemic as in consideration. So we have to do that now. And then second, we have the UN Decade of Ocean Science and UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. So basically, this next 5 years, we will be looking more at ocean restoration, and climate change plays, ways to combat climate change will play a bigger role compared to previous, where we were just talking about disaster risk reduction. This is more proactively mitigating and promoting adaptation through natural-based solutions. The other one is, just to mention, just to stay on climate change, this is quite significant because the Glasgow Climate Pact, for the first time, actually acknowledges ocean as part of the formal negotiating agenda with a dialogue in the negotiations of the climate change. This started in Paris way back, I think in 2000, Arif probably would know more than me, 2006, I don't know when Paris was. And then now it is now formalized. Now the other new feature of this implementation plan would be gender mainstreaming. Before, we haven't been, we know that women are really stewards and responsible, and actually they are also like a partner, and they were not, they were like an unknown or not quantified or not even acknowledged formally. But now more than just promoting for gender parity and equality, we will be looking at gender responsive actions and also institutionalization of gender mainstreaming in plans, project documents, implementation on the ground, and promoting women empowerment also where relevant, basically. But that doesn't, if you put that in words, that's fine, but that doesn't happen automatically. So PEMSEA as a technical service will play a role in terms of making sure that even us in PEMSEA Resource Facility are actually gender responsive in our plans and actions as well.
Wow, that's excellent to hear. Thank you, Amy. It is truly is time to really let women lead, and we take so much inspiration from you also, Amy. It's not easy leading this very big network, and there, gender mainstreaming is definitely a big part of achieving a better, more sustainable world. And you talked about the climate crisis. So as we also discussed at the plenary yesterday, everything is interconnected. So your work is so crucial, especially at this time. So at this point, I guess just to bring it all together, I'd like to ask each of you final last words, if you can all answer this question. And I will begin with His Excellency Ang Sopalet, if I may begin with you. We've learned so much at this Congress. It's actually been a series of events for the past year. We've heard so many interesting ideas also since yesterday. What would be your key takeaway from this whole Congress, and your what do you think is the priority action that we have to take to move forward to build this better normal, especially following this Congress?
Thank you. We take pride and grateful for the opportunity of hosting this year's EAS Congress and part of bringing together the PEMSEA countries in solidifying our commitment in pursuing blue economy and our sustainable development agenda this new decade. A very significant achievement from this gathering is our adoptions of the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declarations, advancing our sustainable development agenda, Road to 2030, for healthy ocean, people, and economies as a manifestation of our shared commitment in the implementation of the PEMSEA Roadmap to 2030 and accompanying SDS SEA Implementation Plan 2023-2027. These two documents are the region's contribution to achieving the goals and targets of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, the UN Decade of Ocean Science, and other regional and international commitments. In the development and implementation of the roadmap and SDS SEA implementation plan, we expect to achieve effective governance with the improved policies for mainstreaming ICM integrated, inclusive, and science-based decision-making process, and strengthen institutional, technical, and resource capacity by adopting relevant tools and mechanisms, as well as developing knowledge and regional best practices on river, coast, and ocean management. B, healthy ocean by scaling up ICM in order to strengthen coastal resilience and protect the health of river, coast, and ocean ecosystem from the threats and impacts of climate change, land-based and marine pollution, unsustainable fishing practices, etc. C, healthy people which facilitate food security and nutrition, as well as better livelihood opportunities and quality of life by engaging the community as responsible stewards and enhancing the capacities to protect and manage the coastal, ocean, and water resources. And D, healthy economies by stimulating blue investment and ensuring efficient utilization of blue resources to support National Green Recovery Initiative, which will further generate jobs and livelihood and contribute to the country's sustainable economic development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now, if we may move on to Dr. Yuono. So if you can share your key takeaway from this and the priority actions that you think we should take forward to build a better, more sustainable world and better normal. Go ahead, Dr. Yuono.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think based on the ministerial declarations, the aim of ministerial declaration is first to review the progress and scale up good practices in that of the action in the decade to achieve our vision of hope, and to respond to the global call for green recovery post COVID-19. What I mean is that this is actually our job for the near future, how to translate into action, into policy making process, and then also trying to contribute to the global solution. Because we again, I say that PEMSEA has a long experience, a long experience, and equipped with a skillful expert, and also for this partnership amongst the stakeholders. That's why we want to implement our ministerial declaration through, again, roadmap to 2030 in the real world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yuono. Amy, if we can go to you.
Yes, I agree with what His Excellency Eng Sapalet and Dr. Paarif mentioned. I would just like to add that PEMSEA, the partnership started as a regional marine project in 1993. 28 years later, we have transformed and evolved into an international regional coordinating mechanism, a regional coordinating mechanism with its own legal personality. So we've gone a long way. And so, as Paarif also mentioned earlier, it is a regional model. And so I am pleased that with this ministerial declaration, the seventh, first to the seventh since 1993, there is recognition of the partnership as a proven platform, promoting knowledge exchange, multi-stakeholder and multi-sectoral partnerships, providing technical support and leveraging new funding opportunities and partnerships to promote blue economy and sustainable coastal development. So I think that is quite, I'm very pleased with that. That through the years, we have 11 country partners and also international development agencies, non-country partners, local governments whose commitment and in implementing integrated coastal management and sustainable coastal development is actually unquantified. I'm sure, they poured a lot of resources to ensure that they implement the common regional framework of SDSC with a view to achieving healthy ocean, people, and economies. So we have a lot to be thankful for with our partners on the ground, at the national level and at the regional level. And we have also a lot to be hopeful for in the next decade. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Very inspiring and hopeful. Perfect words to end this with. As you have said, and we also discussed yesterday at the plenary, this is a multi-sector approach that involves all stakeholders. So it's so important to have this network together. And it was also mentioned yesterday that despite the differences amongst countries here in the region, we also have a lot of commonalities. So many opportunities, even amidst this crisis, for working together and transforming. I think the key word that you've all mentioned also is transforming and evolving together. So thank you again for all your hard work, for all you do, for your commitments and action to really make this world a better place, and all the best for the future and all the work ahead. So thank you again for participating in this important discussion. And thanks again to our panelists, His Excellency Secretary of State Ang Sopalet, Ms. Dr. Arif Yuono, Chair of the East Agencies Partnership Council, and Ms. Amy Gonzalez, Executive Director of PEMSEA. So again, before we go, so there, as you see there in that screen, before we go, we'd like to take a group photo, and we will be taking 2 shots. So we'll ask our media representatives to stay for that, and also, of course, our panelists and speakers. So for our first photo, may we ask all of you please to turn your videos on? Can we have everybody turn on their video so we can have a nice video photo? I'm sorry, this is our world nowadays, right? We take our screenshot. So if we may ask everyone to kindly turn on your videos and look straight into the camera and get ready for our last group shots for today. Everybody ready? Get your smiles on. Okay, let's give everyone a bit of time. Everyone is still, I know we all had different bandwidth connections. So not all bandwidth is created normal. We all have to deal with different bandwidth. So if we'll give everyone a bit of time there, we're seeing this. So we have several participants here. So that means several screens. So we'll request for your patience, please, in posing and smiling in order to take these photos. Okay, there we have most of our videos on. Okay, so everybody get ready. So we'll have a series of shots again. So please, on the count of 3, I'll be counting several times. Okay, first screen on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, so we'll do this several times. We have our wonderful people behind the scenes who are handling all the production work here. So just keep smiling. Continue smiling, and again, look straight into the camera, please. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next screen. Okay, we don't have many videos on, but still, this is great for documentation. Okay, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Lovely smiles. It's lovely seeing, I love seeing everybody's faces here, even if it's through the screens. Okay, I think we have a few more. Yes, a few more to go. Continue smiling, please. I know it kind of hurts to smile, but it's good for our facial muscles. Keep smiling. 1, 2, 3, smile. Great. A few more screens to go. So, okay. I'll wait for my cue until we have pictures of all these screens. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And how many more do we have to go? Yes, a few more screens to go here. Screenshot, and then next. Yes, are we good? Okay, I think we are good. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia and its Ministry of Environment, the administration of Preah Sihanouk, and PEMSEA, we would like to thank all our media partners and representatives, all of you here, as well as various participants from within and outside the EAS region for participating in the press conference. Our gratitude also goes to our Congress sponsors for their support. And we'd like to show who those sponsors are. There they are on your screen. Thank you very much for your support for this very important milestone, for making this possible. Thank you for your participation and collaboration and for all your help. News releases and photos from the main conference, the Ministerial Forum, as well as the press conference shall be posted on the PEMSEA website and social media sites. Our country partners' media focal points and accredited media will also be releasing press materials in their respective countries. Please don't forget to like and follow PEMSEA on our Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn pages. Once again, thank you very much for being here and enjoy the rest of the day. Keep safe, everyone.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, everyone.
Terima kasih, Brian.
With 31 islands, 111 villages, and a population of just over 300,000.
Yeah, you're welcome. We still need to finish this video first.
With 31 islands, 111 villages, and a population of just over 300,000, Preah Sihanouk is the coastal province in southern Cambodia. It is approximately 230 kilometers from the capital of Phnom Penh and borders Koh Kong Province to the south, Kampot Province and Kampong Speu to the east, and the Gulf of Thailand to the south and west. On January 9, 2009, the sub-decree of the Royal Government of Cambodia, number 7, upgraded Sihanoukville into a province and expanded its coverage to 2 municipalities and 3 districts. This paved the way to transforming what was once a sleepy town into a bustling economic hub. A relatively new business and tourist destination, the province of Preah Sihanouk has been designated as one of the 3 economic development areas in Cambodia. It is also the only single province that has been transformed into a multi-purpose special economic zone. The province is the site of the country's only deep seawater port, which serves as a commercial gateway to local and international trade. Because it is located in the center of a scene, Preah Sihanouk is accessible by road, rail, air, and sea, and is blessed by a stable political environment. A rich marine life, unspoiled beaches, and a host of nature-based tourism activities have accommodated a growing number of tourists annually. This in turn has provided significant livelihood opportunities for the locals in the areas of fishery production, trade services, industrial tourism, and ecotourism. With the growing economic activity in the province comes a few issues that come with development. This includes higher levels of pollution, overcrowding, and the potential loss of environmental habitats. In 2001, the provincial government initiated its Integrated Coastal Management Program, or ICM, to sustainably manage its coastal and marine resources.
ក្នុងនាមរដ្ឋបាលខេត្តគឺជាអ្នកសហការក្នុងនាមជាមូលដ្ឋានដែលយើងបានខិតខំរំលេចប្រឹងប្រែងនៅអ្វីដែលយើងមាននៅទីនេះដើម្បីបានការគ្រប់គ្រងបានការជួយទាំងបច្ចេកទេសទាំងគោលនយោបាយទាំងថវិកាដើម្បីយើងធ្វើការអភិវឌ្ឍនៅក្នុងតំបន់ឆ្នេររបស់យើងនេះឲ្យកាន់តែមានសក្តានុពលថែមទៀតឲ្យកាន់តែមានការទាក់ទាញថែមទៀតសម្រាប់ការអភិវឌ្ឍនៅក្នុងតំបន់របស់យើង
ICM helps Preah Sihanouk's provincial government to achieve social and economic development targets in a number of areas: pollution reduction and waste management, fisheries, food security and livelihood management, water use and supply management, and natural and man-made hazard prevention and management.
Preah Sihanouk Province, as member of the PEMSEA Network of Local Governments for Sustainable Coastal Development, adopted the Dongying Declaration The declaration reaffirmed its commitment to be responsive to the requirements of building a blue economy for the region by taking an active role in integrated coastal management, implementation, and scaling up.
In all cases, success has been achieved through an integrated approach. Preah Sihanouk's sustainable development efforts, particularly in the implementation of the ICM program, has helped the province begin its journey towards a blue economy.
ការសាងសង់តូបថ្មីឲ្យបានតាមស្តង់ដារពីមុនតូបយើងអកេតកោវាមានអខិអខៈណាអូនធ្វើតាមចិត្តដែលយើងតែឥឡូវនេះយើងបានធ្វើជាសសរថ្មបេតុងបុកគ្រឹះមានស្តង់ដារតែមួយដែលយើងមើលទៅវាបានបង្អួតភ្ញៀវទេសចរថាយើងនោះបានរៀបចំវិសមរម្យតាមក្បួនខ្នាតត្រឹមត្រូវបរិស្ថានខាងឆ្នេរនោះពីមុនមកគាត់មិនដែលបានជួយដូចរាល់ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងទេឥឡូវតែព្រលឹមឡើងគឺមានក្រុមការងារភ្នាក់ងារគេគឺគេមានម៉ាស៊ីនសម្រាប់រាស់ដីនិងរើសសម្រាមហាក់បីដូចជាគាត់មកជួយយើងបានច្រើន
The blue economy approach, aimed for by the Preah Sihanouk province, refers to sustainable, resilient, and inclusive economic activities with a direct relationship with the ocean and marine resources. It supports pollution reduction and resource conservation while generating jobs and livelihoods through the sustainable use of ocean resources.
ប្រកាសណាស់ថាយើងក៏ត្រូវខិតខំធ្វើការអភិវឌ្ឍព្រោះថាវាមិនអាចមានការអភិរក្សណាមួយការថែរក្សាណាមួយដែលគ្មានការអភិវឌ្ឍវាអាចទៅរួចនោះទេវាត្រូវតែជំរុញការអភិវឌ្ឍនៅទីនេះឲ្យបានសមប្រកបដោយគោរពទៅតាមគោលការណ៍និងច្បាប់របស់ប្រទេសរបស់យើងក្នុងគោលដៅរបស់យើងគឺបានបញ្ជាក់ច្បាស់ថាខេត្តរបស់យើងនេះគឺថាអនុវត្តឲ្យទៅជាខេត្តដែលមានបៃតងនឹងហើយបាទបៃតងនឹងហើយអញ្ចឹងនេះគឺជារឿងដែលយើងត្រូវខិតខំ
Together with the government, much work still needs to be done to sustain these blue economy initiatives, improve local livelihoods, and promote development. The province is looking to building human resources in each area of expertise, such as improving tourism skills, fisheries, agriculture, urban and coastal development skills, as well as engineering and research. The Preah Sihanouk Provincial Administration, under the direction of the Provincial Council and the governors, with the support of the provincial departments as well as the national level, have worked hard to make Preah Sihanouk Province the third economic pillar of the Kingdom of Cambodia. Together with its citizens, this once sleepy province is on its way to transforming itself into a progressive economic hub in the region.